Well, hello again. The other day I made some comments about the Republican National Party and the Democratic National Party being, criminal organizations. Well, I allege that because it seems with what they've done with the taxpayers' money and everything, there's no difference between them and the Godfathers that used to run New York City. I don't know, maybe they still do. But that party, see, in the United States, we've got liberty. So that means each individual person has individual personal liberty. They get to choose what it is they want to do. Don't care. You get to be of age. I guess it's 18. It should be, or it's 21. Nobody can make sure they lowered the voting age to 18. Way back when I was young. And they keep trying to raise the age to buy a gun or be responsible to anything for 21. And then they come up with all these mental disabilities that make people never responsible for their own actions. So none of them should be able to vote. You know, everything them two parties do seems criminal. They're taking away the liberty, the rights, the money, the wealth. They've destroyed everything. Okay? Well, if you look at it, you know, them old guys, them gangs in New York, they ran protection rackets. Okay, they paid the store owner, the shoe shine man, or whatever, would pay them X amount every week for protection. Nobody was to mess with it. Let's see, now that was, then they ran that numbers racket. Okay, let's see. Now the government's, I remember way back when, that's been 40 years or so ago, I don't know. They come out and said how all the tobacco companies lie. And the lawyers, they come out and put out there, charge the tobacco companies. So they made them pay a big fine for lying. Now, a pack of cigarettes I see in the store the other day, a pack of cigarettes is $9 and something cents. Around where I live, I don't know what they are in other places. But back when I was in the Navy, back in the 1960s, when we were out at sea, we bought a pack of cigarettes for $1 because there was no federal tax on it. When we got back into port, they cost us $2. The federal tax was on it. See now, okay. Back when I was in high school, my first job was for $1.25 an hour. I used to clean ditches and stuff like that during the summertime or whichever, as a farm kid for $1.25 an hour. My first official job was $1.25 an hour. Now, if you get to figuring, well, gasoline only costs 19 cents or 20 cents, 21 cents a gallon. Loaf of bread, a 1 pound loaf of Wonder Bread was 15 cents, and a pound and a half loaf was 20 cents. And, you know, you see these things. I don't remember what a quart of milk was, but a pound of hamburger was a quarter, 25 cents at places. Now, come along, that Nixon fella got to be president, and him and his cronies, the two political parties, removed the United States from the gold standard. So we had to have $1 worth of gold for every dollar they printed. Printed money. Then our change had to be silver or whatever, worth what the face value was. Okay, well that went to nowhere, so it could float, and all these big money changers and banks, they could trade this money and make big profits on it. So all of a sudden, now here I hear a couple of days ago where that BRICS outfit, that Brazil, Russia, India, whatever it is, getting together, and they're coming up with BRICS money to pay for oil and different commodities. Well, gee, they're basing that on gold. So when the United States wants to buy anything out of them people, we're going to have to use gold to do it. So there goes a little bit of gold that the American people still own. Why, them politicians and lawyers, brilliant people, they got IQs of 247, and they're dumber than sticks. That's Sheldon Cooper in that TV show, The Big Bang Theory. He showed us what was wrong with politics and lawyers and scientists. But anyway, I digress. And so you look at them laws and people pass. That government, well, the government is actually run by the corporations. And it don't matter whether the corporations are U.S. corporations owned and operated in the U.S., or most of them now are international corporations, and they're owned by foreign countries. Look at how many of them corporations got foreign owners. Look at how many of them foreign countries, Arabia and all them other things, China. Who owns most of the dock businesses on the West Coast? Who owns most of the dock businesses and that on the East Coast? Are them Americans? Seems to me I've seen and heard somewhere where they ain't. But anyway, I digress. Chrysler Corporation. You look around. These banks, who owns all of them? What gives this World Economic Forum so much clout? Well, the United States government, the Constitution, the United States money, the government has no money. It's all in trust from the American taxpayers. So, they ain't supposed to be doing all this stuff. If you get to looking real close, that Korea, that Vietnam, that Kuwait, that Iraq, that Afghanistan, all those things, now this Ukraine deal that Emperor Biden is running, they're not supposed to be doing that. Those are criminals taking charge, using the good faith and their money and everything of the United States people, the U.S. legal citizens, for their own agenda and own end. That's why I'm saying those two parties are criminal organizations, it seems. I wish somebody would really check. There's a few of them people, that Levine feller and that Paul feller, that Rand Paul, and his daddy, Ron Paul. There's a couple of them mouthy women back there, that Green and that Bobert from Colorado, and that. There's a few of them people that say some things now and then, but they don't accuse the party, because it's the party that got them elected, and they are beholding to the party, and they vote for the party. And now these two things that went on, that one that Rand Paul is complaining about, all the Republican senators voted against taking the War Powers Act power away from the president, and there's another one I see where somebody was complaining about the representatives, some 86 of them, voted against something that's totally unconstitutional, or voted for something that was unconstitutional there in the House of Representatives. Well, people ought to start looking. They're even selling all our land. People like China, Bill Gates, George Soros, everything. Look into it. See how much the United States has been sold off to people who only want to rule and be kings. The whole thing, it's criminal, and we've allowed it to happen. Well, I'm sure one of these days something's going to happen to straighten things out. Because I believe in God, and I would like to have God bless all of you. I say this, wish you a good day. See you.